Okay, today we are seeing about this earthquake resistance structure, that is ERS. So here you can see the India map is divided into 4 zones. Okay, it is divided into 4 zones, that is zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 and zone 5. And here we can see what are the cities or the regions which are falling in the zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 and zone 5. At last of the code book, you have some cities name here. You have some city's name and it will tell in which zone does that city is falling. Okay, for example Agra, it is falling in zone 3. Okay, if you take an example of Bengaluru, it is falling in zone 2 and its coefficient is 0.1. So we will see what is the coefficient or zone factor for the analysis. Just remember, either you can go through the maps or at the last of your code book, here they have given the zones or city which are falling in which zone, either in zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 or zone 5. And in example it says that analyze a tall rise building which is situated in Pune. Okay, means from the table you should come to know that Pune, it is falling in the zone 3 and its zone factor is 0.16. Okay, and even also he says that it may fall in Delhi, Mangalore, whatever. Okay, so depending upon the cities, he will give the zones or zone factors. Okay, sometimes he will directly mention the zone factor, so saying that the building is falling in zone 2, zone 3, etc., or he will mention the city. Okay, so we are referring the Indian Standard Code Book, that is 1893 2000 part 1, 2002 part 1. The earthquake load is nothing but the lateral loads. Okay, just remember, dead loads, live loads act vertically downwards. Okay, wind loads, earthquake loads act laterally or perpendicular to the building, means in lateral directions. Okay, up to now he has not asked any terminologies for your exams. If he asks anything, you can directly copy from the code books. Okay, so I will explain which are some important things. Okay, what do you mean by seismic weight? Okay, it is the total lead load plus approximate amount of specified imposed loads. Okay, it is a combination of dead load and live load. Okay, what is the structural response factor? That is SA by G. Okay, in codebook we have some tabular column, and with respect to that one, we will go for the calculation of SA by G, which will helpful for the calculation of the base shear. Okay, what is structural response factor? It is a factor denoting the acceleration response spectrum of the structure subjected to earthquake, ground vibrations, and depends upon the natural period of vibration and damping of the structures. Okay. For example, see, this is your high-rise building, and say that the earthquake occurs at this point. Okay, then the load will be acting in lateral directions. Okay, the dead load, live load act in the downward direction or towards the CG, towards the gravity, but the earthquake load, wind loads will act at the lateral load. These are the lateral loads. Now, see, when the earthquake happens, say this is our earth. Okay, above which we have a high-rise building. Okay, say that at this point, locus point, there is a fall of ground or some disturbance in the crust of the earth. These will be carried towards the surface of the earth. With respect to that, there will be the movement of the building, and this causes vibration such that the load will be distributed in lateral directions, and these vibrations will depend upon the time period, frequency, okay, mode of vibration, okay. Depending upon all this, so we will determine the SA by G value, okay, which is depends upon time period, okay, that nothing but T, okay. Then the next important thing for your analyzing is zone factor. It is the zone factor to obtain the design spectrum depending upon the perceived maximum seismic risk characterized by maximum considered earthquake. Okay, for this one, they have already analyzed and they have given the zone factors for the different zones for zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5. Totally, there are four zones. There are four zones. The first one is zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5. Okay. Here are the some abbreviation notations. Can go through it, and each and every step of designing is directly given in the code book. Okay. Okay. The main motto will start from here: design spectrum, how to design the uh, building for earthquake, okay, earthquake load or lateral loads. So the first thing is that the clause 4.6.4.1, for the purpose of determining the seismic force, the country is specified into four seismic zones. Okay. See, the first thing we need is that we want to determine whether it is falling in which zone. Okay, either it is in zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, or zone 5. After that, we will calculate this AH. AH is nothing but the seismic coefficient. Okay. See here you can see ZI, okay, R, and uh, SA by G. Okay. If I write means seismic coefficient AH, it is given by Z into I upon 2 times of R multiplied by SA, SA by G. Okay. Here we, to determine the seismic coefficient, we need the Z value. Z is nothing but the seismic factor, that is whether it is falling in zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, or zone 5. For different things we have different values. Okay. So I is nothing but the importance factor, this is the response factor, and this is the acceleration factors. Okay, these all are available in the code book depending upon the conditions that he has given. Okay, so we will see one by one, and here to determine the SA by G value, we need to determine the time factor or natural time period. Depending upon this, initially I have said that it is depends upon the time period, and we have formula that is Ti equals to 0.075 H into raised to 0.75, and Ta equals to 0.085 H 0.875. Okay, so this is for your RCC and this is for your steel frame. Okay, so according to our syllabus we will consider only this one. Okay, so we will neglect the second time period. So just remember Ta, it is calculated by 0.075 H raised to 0.75. Okay, suppose If it is your means the frame is resisting by the brick infill, okay, say that this is your frame structure and it is infilled with the help of the bricks. Here they have laid the bricks, okay, means an enclosure. Then TA value can be written as TA equals to 0.09 h upon square root of d. Okay, then you should take this formula where h is the height of the building and d is the base dimensions. Okay, just remember here one thing is that you should read the question very carefully, which type of frame structure he has given and what in which zone is falling and which type of building, whether it is a school building or it is a hospital or whether it is a residential building, commercial building. So you should take care of these things. So first once we will glance the code book, then you will get some ideas. Okay, AH is nothing but the seismic coefficient and it is calculated by Z into I upon 2R multiplied by SA by G. Okay, and it is directly depends upon the value of T. Okay, then what is that? We already seen that zone, it is a zone factor. From the table we will directly get, or uh, from the map or from the listed cities. Okay, I is nothing but the importance factor. Okay, we will see what are the importance factor for different types of buildings. R is nothing but the response reduction factor. We have some separate tabular column. Here we can directly see for important factor which table we should refer. We should refer the table number 6. Okay, for response reduction factor to determine the value of R, which table we have to refer? We have to refer table number 7. Okay, so we have some different, and SA by G. SA by G is nothing but the average response acceleration coefficient. Okay, so we will see here from table number 2. Okay, directly we will get the seismic factor or zone factor. See, he says that your building is falling in zone 2, then your zone factor it will be 0.1. Suppose he says that your building is falling in zone 3, then your seismic factor or zone factor it will be 0.16. Similarly, for 4 it is 0.24 and 0.5 it is 0.36. Just remember the table number 2. Okay. Now we have to determine, see, this design acceleration spectrum SA by G. He says that your building is falling in zone 2. For example, he says that the building is falling in zone 2 and the foundation or the soil available it is rocky or hard strata. Okay, what is your soil type condition? He says that it is hard soil. Then you should refer this one. Okay, that is SA by G, this flower bracket. Okay, suppose he says that the type of the soil available it is medium soil. Okay, so for medium soil, which flower bracket you should refer? You should refer this, these values. Okay, suppose he says that the foundation of your soil it is soft, then you should go for the these values. Okay, see here, the important thing is that initially I have said that the acceleration is directly depends upon the time period. Okay, t value. See, on calculating, if you get the t value, suppose says that your building it is falling in hard soil. Okay, hard soil means that I should refer this one. Here I have 3 values. Okay, you can see that 1.1 plus 15 times the t, or SA by G it is 2.5, or SA by G it is 1 upon t. Okay, among these 3 which I should refer. Okay, see, it depends upon your value t. Suppose it is lying between 0.00 to 0.10. Suppose says that you have got t equals to 0.05. Then you should check the range. See, it will fall under this one. Means 0.05 lies between 0 and 0.1. Therefore, then you should SC by G it is calculated as 1 plus 15 times the T. Suppose if your T value lies between, say we have got T value as 0.3, then you should check the condition. See, 0.3 it lies for the second condition. Therefore, directly I should take SA by G value as SA by G as 0.2, 2.5. Your T value is 0.3, then we should take SA by G as 2.5. Suppose he says that the soil condition is very soft, okay, and on calculation say that on calculating you have got a T equals to 0.5. Say randomly you have got a T equals to 0.5. Then you should check the condition. First thing is that soft soil, okay, then these I should refer in that 0.5. Where it lies between 0.1 to 0.7. Therefore, which I should take? I should go for this one. Directly I can take SA by G as 2.5. Like this. Here also we have some graphs. Here we have some damping factors. Okay, I will explain what is damping. See what I will do. I will take a steel scale. Okay, this is a mild steel scale. Okay, so what I am doing is that I am holding here very tightly. Okay, then what I will just pull it, apply the force. Okay, it is in the state of equilibrium. Okay, you know different types of equilibrium. This is neutral state, statically determined, and this is stable one, and then this is unstable one. So now this is in equilibrium. What I will do, I will apply the force. So when I pull the steel, when I leave, what it will do, it will oscillate. Okay, it will oscillate like this. Your scale will oscillate like this. I'm holding here very tightly. Okay, so when I bring when I bring another object near to it, means I will disturb this vibration. Okay, when I disturb this vibration, is nothing but I am reducing the vibration. I am reducing the vibration. So this is nothing but we will call as damping or reducing the vibration. Another example is that here this is a very rough road. Okay, you are riding a bike or a car, whatever, on this very rough road. Okay, see, due to this rough road, there will be a vibration created. Okay, there will be a vibration created in your bike. So this vibration is received by what? Shock absorber. Okay, suppose see if you are going in a cycle, okay, in this same rough road, so you will feel lot of vibration, means your body will get very pained or tired, because here there is no damping or no any observer, shock observer which observing this vibration. That too if you going in car, okay, in car or a bike, there are some shock observer which observes the vibration created due to the road and the motion of the vehicles. Similarly, what we do, we use some dampers in the building also. We use some dampers in the building such that it reduces the vibration of the building. And in exam, he is in question he will says that 5% of dampness is given to the sorry 5% of the dampness is given to the building. Okay, then the reduction factor will be taken as 1. Okay, suppose is there's 15% of damping is done, then we can take it for 0.7%. Okay, each and everything is it is given in the code book. Okay, and regularity and irregularity are most important thing, but for your exam they have not mentioned anything. Torsional irregularity and mass irregularity, these are very most important thing for the designing, means for if you're going for any dynamic analysis like that. So we will skip this for mass irregularity. If you're interested, we can go for the irregularities of the building. Okay, the next thing is that I said that I need the value of I is nothing but here you can see. Once I will go up, yeah, we have seen Z, we have seen SA by G. Now we are left with I and R. So I is nothing but the importance factor and R is nothing but the response reduction factor. Okay, so how I should consider the I value? Here indirectly in the code book we have some guidelines that importance factor table number 6. Okay, in table number 6 he says that if your structure is so and so, then you should take importance factor of the zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.5. Suppose that important services and community buildings, such as if your building is a hospital or a school, monumental structures or emergency trains, television station, radio station, railway station, or any other public sectors. Okay, then you should consider the I value as how much? 1.5. Then any other buildings, say residential building, then you should go for 1. Okay, just remember how to consider the I value directly from the table number 6. Importance factor means importance of that building. In questions he says that um, the school building is situated in zone 2, subjected for 7% of dampness, like that. So school building means nothing but it is here importance factor should be taken as 1.5. Okay, then we have left with R, response reduction factor. So R, these stiffness I will explain later in next chapter. Okay, here we can see table number 7, response reduction factor, that is R. So here also we have, here you can see the R, and here we have different values for the R. For example, building frame structure. Okay, whether it is composite structure, frame structure means column, beam, slabs. Okay, the first thing is that whether it is an ordinarily reinforced moment resisting frame. Okay, in question directly we will give OMRF. It is nothing but ordinary moment resisting frame. Then you should go for the value of R equals to 3. Suppose he says that if your building is SMRF, that is special moment resisting frame, then you should take R value as 5. Okay, just remember he says that the school building which is located in the zone 2, and the type of the building is SMRF, means special moment resisting for frame, then you should take the value of R as 5. And also here we have different types of conditions. So this one is for our building frame structures. So here we have load bearing masonry buildings. Okay, load bearing means without columns. Okay, for there also we have unreinforced, reinforced with the horizontal RC bands. Okay, we have different conditions. Then we have another important thing is that percentage of imposed loads to be considered in seismic weight calculation. So we are taking dead load, live loads, etc. Okay, so imposed load, how much we should take? See, in table number 8 it clearly says that supposed uniformly distributed load. Okay, live load up to 3 kilonewton per meter square, we can take it for 25%. Okay, suppose if your live imposed load is more than 3 kilonewton per meter square, then we should take it for 50%. Okay, once while solving the problem we will come to know. Then our ultimate motto is to determine the design base shear. Okay, VB is nothing but the base shear. So for that we need AH value and W value, correct? AH we know how to calculate, that is Z into I upon 2 times of R multiplied by SA by G. Okay, AH. Then what is W? Well, W is nothing but the seismic weight of a building. Okay, as per clause 7.4.2. Once I will show it. Okay, W is nothing but the seismic weight of the building. Seismic weight of the whole building is the sum of seismic weight of all the process. Okay, so what we will do, we will calculate the loads for individual floors, then we will add it totally. So this is nothing but the total seismic load. And I have said you that how to calculate the value of T. So here we can see fundamental natural period. Okay, time period. What you mean by time period? The amount taken for the one completion of one cycle. Okay, time taken for complete one cycle is nothing but the time period. So here you can see the approximate fundamental time period of vibration Ta in seconds for a moment resisting frame building without brick. Just remember this one. This one is most important. Without bricks, infill panels can be estimated by the empirical expression, that is Ta is equals to 0.07 0.075 H raised to 0.75. Okay, this is for RCC frame building. If your building is of a steel frame, okay, C section, I sections, okay, those types of frame, it means we should go for the value of 0.085. Okay, so here we are going for RCC, so we will take 0 Ta equals to 0.075 times the height, where h is nothing but the height of total height of the building in meters. This includes basement story, where the basement wall are connected with the ground floor. Okay, this means h means including the basements, total height will be considered. Suppose here you can see uh, if your building is moment resisting building with brick infill panels. Okay, if you are laying the bricks inside the building means, then you should take Ta equals to 0.09. This is multiplied by h. Okay, h is missing here, multiplied by h, make a correction, 0.09 multiplied by h divided by square root of d, where h is nothing but the height of the building and d is nothing but the base dimension of the building. Okay, finally we will calculate the qi. Okay, qi is we have some tabular, means we will make tabular column to make it very easy. The vertical distribution of phase shear to different floor levels. Okay, for floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4 means q1, q2, q3, q4. So we will calculate with the help of this formula. Okay, so whatever just now you have seen is this for static forces. Even we have for the dynamic forces also, but for your syllabus dynamic force is not there. Okay, these are all for the dynamic. So we will go for the static. Okay, Just remember everything, each and everything is given in the code book. Okay. The thing is that one should have a good habit of getting the values very quickly from the code book instead of searching. And it will be possible when you solve the n number of the problems. Okay. So I hope you have got at least a few percent how to look up the code books. So we will take one numericals, and the problem is like this: the plan and elevation of the three-story school building. See, this is that school building. Okay, the plan and elevation of 1 second. I will directly show it. Okay, here you can see the numerical is like this. The plan and elevation, the plan and elevation of three-story RCC school building. Okay, just remember school building is shown in the figure. The building is located in which zone? He has given the zone number 5. The type of soil encountered is medium steep. Okay, and it is proposed to design the school building with a special moment resisting force. Okay, SMRF. Okay, the type of the building is special moment resisting frame. The intensity of dead load is 12 kilonewton per meter square, and the live load on the floor is 3 kilonewton per meter square. Design the seismic load on the structure. Just read the questions twice and underline or note down the important things. He says that it is a school building falling in zone number 5. The soil type is medium. Okay, and it is SMRF. Okay, SMRF. Dead load he has given, live load he has given, and the plan he has given like this. Okay, here you can see this is a plan. Okay, so it is for 8 meter by 8 meter, and the elevation is like this. Just remember, this is first floor, second floor, third floor. Okay, 4 story means there will be a 4 slab, 5 story means there will be 5 slabs, 6 story means there will be 6 slabs. Just remember, don't get confused. Okay, and he has given the height of each floor. Okay, it may vary. Okay, just remember, it may vary, it may be, it is not that it should be same. Sometimes the basement height will be 4 meter and the rest of the height will be 3 meter, 3 meter. Okay, like that, depending upon the requirement. So this is the plan and elevation that he has given. So we will solve on numerical. It is a school building, correct, and in it is falling in the zone 5, and special moment resisting frame, correct. Then he has given dead load as 12 kilonewton per meter square, and live load equals to 3 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so AH equals to, we know that, Z into I upon 2R multiplied by SA upon G, correct. Then what we need, we need the value of Z, we need the value of I, we need the value of R. Here we need the value of SA upon G. Okay, to determine the SA of the value SA upon G, we need the value of P. Okay, so directly we will see in the code book and find the value of this. So the Z value, okay, he says that it is falling in which zone? He says that it is in zone number 5, Okay, from table number 2, here you can see zone number 5 and its zone factor it is 0.36, correct? So I will write here 0.36. Then what we need the I value. Okay, we have seen that for important building I value is 1.5, for another building it is 1. Okay, so directly I will write for school building it is 1.5. I will show this one. Okay, and R value. Okay, for special moment resisting frame it is 5. Okay, we will see I value and R value 1.5 and 5. Keep it in mind. Yeah, importance factor. He says that it is a school building. Okay, here we can see school building, and I value how much it is. It is 1.5. So I have written 1.5. Then I need the value of R. R is nothing but response reduction factor. Here from table number 7, he says that it is a special moment resisting frame. Okay, and its value is how much? Its value is 5. Correct? So I have taken the value of 5. Then we have got R value, I value, R value. Then we need the value of T. Okay. Mm, so T value it is given by 0.09 H upon square root of T. Okay. We will consider it is infill with the brick walls. Okay. 0.09 multiplied by the elevation is like this. The first floor height is 3.5, second floor height is 3.5 and 3.5. Okay, this was 4 meter and this was 4 meter, correct? So what is the total height here? 3.5 plus 3.5 plus, sorry, it is 10.5. Directly write down 10.5. Now D value, what is the base width? It is 8 meter. Okay, directly write down. Okay, so how much I will get? On simplification we will get 0.334 second. Okay, and another important thing he has given that it is in medium, soil condition is medium stiff, correct? So I want to determine the value of SA by G. So how I will determine? Again I will go back to the code book. Okay, here you can see, here we have medium one, correct? And we have got the T value as how much? 0.334. Okay, 0.334, it lies here. Okay, so directly I can take SA by G value as 2.5. Once again I will repeat, he has given the soil condition as a medium, and I have got the T value as 0.334. Okay, which lies between 0.1 to 0.5. So directly what I will take the SA by G value as 2.5. Therefore SA by G is 2.5. Okay, now calculate the value of AH. AH equals to Z value is how much? Here we have the formula. Z value is 0.36 multiplied by I value how much it is? 1.5 divided by 2 times of R value it is 5 multiplied by SA by G it is 2.50. Okay, Therefore, horizontal seismic coefficient, how much we have got? AH equals to 0.135. Okay. Then the main thing is that we have to determine the base shear, that is VB. Then the formula it is AH into W. Correct. We know the value of AH, but we don't know the value of W. Okay. Then how we will determine the value of W? W is nothing but the seismic weight. Okay. See, he has given in question, he has given dead load equals to 12 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, need not to determine the dead load. Okay, how we will calculate the dead load? Suppose if it is a beam, say, I know how you know to calculate the dead load, live load for beams and slabs. Suppose it is 230 by 300. Okay, how you calculate the dead load? It is 0.23 by 0.3 multiplied by the density. Okay, suppose if it is your slab, I will calculate the dead load for this slab. My thickness, this is my slab. Okay, and the thickness is 150. So 1.15 into 1 into 25. I know you means I think you know how to calculate the dead loads and live load for the different aspects. Okay, so here he has directly given the dead load, and the live load he has given 3 kilonewton per meter square. Now, what is the floor area? It is 8 meter by 8 meter. Correct. Here, if I draw the plan like this, it was 4 meter, 4 meter, 4 meter, 4 meter. Okay, so it was 8 by 8. Correct. If the total area was how much? It is a 64 meters square. Correct. And for live loads, once again, live load for 3 kilonewton per meter square, we have conditions in the code book. I will show you. Table number 8. And he has not given any damping factors. Okay. And I will tell you what we should do when he give the damping factors also. Okay, here you can see percentage of imposed load that we should consider while calculating the seismic weight. Say it is above up to or including 3 kilonewton, then we should take 25%. If it is more than 3, we should consider it as a 50%. So it is up to 3. He has given 3 kilonewton per meter square. What we will do, we will consider only 25% of the live load. Okay, for this one, what we will do, we will consider only 25% according to IS standards. Okay, table number 8. Okay, now seismic dead load on each floor. It is dead load he has given 12. What is the area? It is 64. Okay, the load will be 768 kilo Newton. I will draw the diagram here. Okay, here we have dead load plus live load. Okay, dead load, how much it is? 768 kilo Newton. Correct. Next, live load, it is how much he has given? Sorry, uh, 3 into, okay, 64, and we are considering only 25%. Okay, so the live load, it will be 48 kilo Newton. Okay, live load, how much it is? 48 kilo Newton. When you add all these two, means dead load plus live load, it will be how much? Add this and this. If it is total 816 kilo Newton, means load on each floor, how much it is? 816 kilo Newton. Now, as as given on roof, there is no live load, hence seismic weight on roof, it is 768. And another thing is that, here also we have dead load and live load. Here we will take 816 kilo Newton, and according to IS standards, we should not consider the live load on the top last floor. Okay, so directly we can take the dead load. I will show you the clause. Clause number, 1 second. Here, design imposed load for the earthquake force calculations. Okay, for various loading cases, we'll go for, means for imposed load, IS 875 part 2, it is for mainly for live loads. The earthquake force shall be calculated for full dead load plus the percentage of imposed load. Okay, we have taken the percentage, whether it is 25% or 15%, depend upon the live load. Okay, for calculating this one, this is most important. For calculating the design seismic force of the structure, the imposed load on the roof is not to be considered. Okay, so imposed load on the top floor, we should take it as a 0. Just remember this one, clause number 7.3.2. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we were here. If I draw the diagram again, this is my elevation, front elevation. Here the total load, it will be 816 kilonewton. Here also it will be 816 kilonewton. Here it will be only the dead loads, that is 768 kilonewton. Therefore, if we add all these, what is the total seismic load? It is 2400 kilonewton. We have got the value of W. Okay, then directly we can calculate the VB. Okay, now base shear, design base shear, it is given by Ah into W. The Ah value we have got is 0.135 and W we have got 2400. Therefore VB is equals to 324 kilo Newton. Okay. Now in question, if we ask uh, determine the load distribution with respect to different floors, means for floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, how the load is distributing, then what you should do, just draw the tabular column. Here this is story, here we have W, I, here we have HI in terms of meter, here it is Wi upon HI square. It is also available in the code book. I will show you. Wi HI square upon summation of Wi HI square, lateral force, that is Q, which is equals to base shear multiplied by Wi HI square upon summation of Wi HI square. I will show you in the code book. Here you can see Qi is means I is nothing but the nth floor. Okay, VB into Wi HI square divided by summation of Wi HI square. Okay, here it is directly available in the code book. If you won't remember the formula also, no problem. Okay, so how to determine the loads? Okay, here for calculation you should go from top floor to the bottom floor, that is third floor. We have got the W. How much? W is 768 kilonewton. Okay, then write 768 kilonewton in terms of kilonewton. Now we need HI. HI, here from the question we can say it is 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. Okay, all the heights are same. Therefore, I will write 3.5. The next table is Wi into HI, means multiply this 768 multiplied by 3.5. We will get, sorry, once again. This HI is nothing but the distance from the ground levels, okay, from the base last floor. So this is 10.5. Okay, now Wi HI, it is nothing but when you multiply 768 multiplied by 10.5, it is 84,672. Okay, then we'll go for the second floor. Okay, I will draw the diagram here. Okay, this is 3.5, 3.5 and 3.5. Okay, the total height is how much? It is 10.5. From here to here, how much it is? The height is 7 meter. But just remember. Now I am going for the second floor. Second floor, we have how much? We have the load. We have 816 kilonewton. Therefore, write down 816 kilonewton. What is the height from this base? It is 7 meter. Okay, write down 7 meter. Multiplied this to 816 multiplied by 7, we will get 39,984. Okay, then we'll go for first floor. First floor we have got the weight as same, and this height it is 3.5. Okay, on multiplication we will get 9996. Okay, then what you do summation of these three values, means this one and this one we will get, that is summation of wi into hi square. How much we will get? It is 1,34,652. Okay, we have got summation this one. The next tabular column here we can see wi hi square upon summation of wi hi square. Correct. What is wi hi? This 8th, here I will write 84,672 divided by summation. How much I have got? 1,34,652. Therefore, this will result 0.63. Similarly, the same thing, 39,000 this upon this, 39,984 divided by 1,34,652. This will result 0.3. Okay. Similarly, 9,996 upon 1,34,652, which will result 0.074. Okay. Now we have left with the Q value. Okay, that is lateral force for each floor. Okay, for third floor how much the lateral force is acting, for second floor how much it is acting, for first floor how much it is acting. So Q3 means for third floor, what is the value of VB? VB we have got 324 kilonewton. Okay, just write down 324 kilonewton multiplied by this factor, that is 0.63. Okay, we will get the value as 203.73 kilonewton. Similarly, for second floor, it is 324 multiplied by 0.3, which is equals to 96.19. Similarly, for Q3, it is 324 multiplied by 0.074, which is equals to 24.05. This is how we will calculate the lateral forces for each floor. Okay. If he says to represent the lateral forces for each floor, means what you do, just draw the diagram. This will be your Q3, Q2 and Q1. Just write down the values here. Q3 is how much, Q2 is how much, Q1 is how much. Okay, this is how the procedure is followed. I will explain once more. Okay, while solving the numerical, the most important thing is that you have to read the question at least twice. Okay, in question he says that the school is falling in, the purpose of the building is the school building, and it is falling in the zone number 5, and he says that it is a special moment resisting force. Okay, and he says that it is present, the soil condition it is medium stiff. Okay, and he has given directly, he has given the dead load and live load. If not, then we have to calculate the dead loads and live loads. So when you start the solving the problem, what you do, just write down this formula. Okay, AH, seismic coefficient AH. Okay, that is Z into I upon 2 times of R multiplied by SA into G. Okay, what is Z? Z is nothing but the zone factor. Okay, here what we will do, he says that it is in zone number 5. Directly we will go for the table number 2 from the code book, and we will determine the zone factor. Okay, we have got that is 0.36. Then We want I value, that is importance factor. Importance factor, you can see he says that it is a school building, so we will take it as 1.5. Next one, R value. R value, what he is saying? He is saying that it is a special moment resisting frame. Therefore, R value from table number 7, we will take R equals to 0.5. Suppose it is ordinary moment resisting frame, means the R value will be 3. Okay, just remember. Then what we need the SA by G. So to determine by SA by G, first we need determine the value of T. So T, what you will do, you will check whether it is infilled with the brick walls, means the whole building is of, you can say apartment, it is constructed with the help of if you see Panchashila, it is constructed with the help of the bricks. Okay, outer walls are constructed with the bricks, we will call that one as infill brick walls. Okay, if you see the WTC, okay, World Trade Center, it is glass cladding. Okay, they have used glass instead of bricks. Cladding is nothing but the enclosure of the building, such that no one will fall from the edges. So Panchashila, it is constructed with the bricks, and WTC, it is enclosed or constructed, means it is enclosed with the glasses. So these are the different conditions. So what we will do, we will take, it is enclosed with the bricks. So we have the formula, this one. So we will substitute the given things. So we will find the value of T. Then we have SA by G. Okay, SA by G, we will depend, it depends upon whether your soil is hard, medium or soft. So depending upon that, and we will have three values. So we will see whether which this 0.33 where it lies. Okay, depending upon that, we will take SA by G as 2.5. So we have got all the values. AH, so we directly we will calculate the AH value as 0.135. Say suppose he has given 5% of damping. First I will finish this one, I will later I will explain. So we have calculated the value of AH. AH is nothing but the horizontal seismic coefficient. Then we have to determine the value of VB. VB is nothing but the design base shear. It is given by AH into W. We have already got the value of AH. Then we want to determine the value of W. So we will calculate the dead load on each floor, dead load on the live load on the each floor. So in live load, what we will do, we will consider up to 25% whether your live load is equal to, lesser than or equal to 3 kilonewton per meter square. We will take 25%. If it is greater than 3 kilonewton per meter square, we will go for 50%. We will consider 50% of live load. So in our case, it is equal to 3 kilonewton. So we have considered 25%. So we have got the dead load and live load on each floor. Now we want to determine the total load on the each floor. So what we will do, dead load plus live load. Why we will not consider the live load on the roof, on the top, means suppose says that if there is a, for an example, here there is a staircase. Okay, suppose there is an earthquake happening in your building, means all the persons will come out of the building. Okay, they will run off from the building. No one will go and stand on the top of the building, correct? No one will go and stand on the top of the building. What they will do, they will run up from the building, such that before the collapsing of the building, they will run up from the building. No one will go on the terrace. Suppose say that there is a flood. Okay, there is a water coming. Okay, then what they will do, the people will go and stand on the top, on the terrace, such that they can save their life from the water. But in case of seismic, what they will do, all the people will run off from the building instead of going on the terrace. So only we will not consider the live load on the roof. Remember, on the roof, not on the floor, on the roof. So we have calculated the different loads on the different floors. So what we will do, we will add those and we will get the seismic weight. After getting the seismic weight, we know the value of AH and we have know the value of W. So we will calculate the base shear, design base shear. In question, if he has determined the lateral forces acting on the each floors on floor number 1, 2, 3, 4, then we will go for this table. Okay. The one thing is that from the codebook you can directly copy this formula. Just see here what are the requirements. Wi is requirement, Hi is requirement. Just split the formula. Take this one, substitute here. Take this one, split it here. Okay, split this one, split this one. Okay. So Wi is nothing but the weight of each floor. Okay, we have different loads on different floors. Similarly, we have different heights with respect to the bottom. So, and we will multiply and we will calculate the lateral loads on different floors. And I said that in question, if he says that 5% of damping is done, okay, damping is nothing but the preventing the vibration, then what we should do from the codebook, everything, each and everything is present in the codebook. Okay, it is not necessary to remember each and everything. Okay, see here, suppose says that the building is damped for 5%. Okay, 5% it is nearly 1, so we will not consider this one. Say it is damped for 7% and its factor is 0.9. So while calculating the AH, we know that AH equals to Z into I upon 2 times of R multiplied by SA upon G. Correct. See, if it is 5%, then it is multiplied by 1. If it is 7%, from codebook how much it was? It was 0.90. You should multiply it here only. For AH, you should multiply here only. Just remember, I think it in the TechMax of Techno it is not there. So if he has given 7% of damping, from the codebook check what is the coefficient. Okay, so we will get some factor, just multiply and keep the value of AH. Okay, for 5% it is equals to 1. Okay, for different, if it is 2% we will take 1.4. If it is 0% dampening is then we will go for 3.2. If it is 20, then we will multiply AH by 0.6 like this. Okay, anybody having doubt here up to this point? Anybody having doubt? Okay, the time is 3:50. Started at 2:30. So I will explain one more numericals. The remaining numericals I will take it tomorrow. So another question. Okay, it is like this. Okay, using seismic coefficient method, analyze the frame structure situated in zone 5. Okay, he says it is a 4-story RCC building as shown in the figure, and he has given RCC infill with brick masonry. Okay, then what we should do? We should take T equals to what? 0.09 H upon square root of D. The dead weight is 12 kilonewton per meter square, and the live on the floor, and 10 kilonewton meter square on the roof. Live load on the floor it is 4 kilonewton per meter square, and on the roof the live load is taken as 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, and he has given the plan like this. Okay, this is a regular structure. Okay, while explaining the code book, I said that there are some irregularities, shape irregularities. Okay, load irregularities. So this is a regular one. Okay, it is not, it is a perfectly square. Okay, so here you can see 5 meter, 5 meter, 5 meter, and in a y-axis there are 3 bays. Okay, this is 1 bay, 2 bay, 3 bay, 4 bays. Okay, similarly here in y-axis it is 1, 2, 3. 3 bays are there, and elevation he has given. Here you can see at the basement it is little bit higher, that is 4.2 meter, and the rest of the floors are 3.2 meter, 3.2 meter, 3.2 meter. Okay, so yeah, the first thing is that we will go determine the zone. Okay, he has given zone number 5. For that zone factor it is 0.36. Importance factor. Okay, he has not mentioned any of the building, whether it is, here you can see he has not mentioned any type of the building, whether it is a school building, hospital, or public sectors, whatever. Okay, so he has not mentioned anything. So what we will do, instead of 1.5, what we will do, we will take it I equals to 1. And he has mentioned it is a SMRF, that is special moment resisting frame. So we will take R equals to our 5 meter, R equals to 5. And here he has clearly mentioned that it is infilled with the brick masonry. So we have this formula, that is T equals to 0.09 times the H divided by square root of B, where B is the base dimension of the building at the plinth level and H equals to height. So what we are doing here, we are taking the, you can see here it is how much, 5 4s are 20, and here it is 15. Okay, go for any one direction. Okay, so here he has taken 15, square root of 15, here is taken square root of 20. Okay, along the x-axis how much he has got? He has got 0.03, 0.32, and for y-axis he has got 0.2. Okay, then what you have done, you have calculated with the help of that T, you have calculated the value of SA by G. Okay, that is 2.5. Now here we have got the value of Z, we have got the value of I, we have got the value of R, we have got the value of SA by G. Therefore we can directly calculate the seismic coefficient AH equals to 0.09. Most of the people will do mistake at this point, that is by load calculation. Just take care about that one. So the next thing is that we have to determine the value of design base shear, that is VB. VB is given by AH into W. Here we have got the value of AH, then we want to determine the value of W. So how we will determine the W? He has given, just check what else he has given. Lead load on each floor. Okay, just remember he has given dead load on each floor, dead load on roof slab, live load on each floor, live load on roof slab. Okay, dead load, live load, dead load floor, dead load for roof slab, dead load for floor, and live load for roof slab. The first thing is that dead load on each floor. Okay, here we can see the total dimension, it is how much? 20 by 15. This is 20, sorry, this is 20 now along x-axis, and sorry, along y-axis it is 15. So we have got the area, that is 15 by 20. 15 by 20 multiplied by 12, how much is given? Here you can see dead load, it is 12. Okay, on multiplying we will get dead load on each floor. How much? We have got 3600. Next, dead load on. So first we will finish the dead load and we will go for the live loads. Okay, here he has given dead load on roof slab. Okay, if you come here, here we can see okay, here dead load on roof slab, how much he has given? 10 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore dead load, how we will calculate? Area multiplied by intensity, 15 by 20, and dead load he has given 10. Okay, so we have got 3000 kilonewton. So Here we have got dead load on each floor and we have got dead load on roof slab, correct? Then we have finished with the dead loads, then we will go for the live loads. Okay, and uh, the code book says that table number 8, it says that if your live load it is equal to or lesser than or equal to 3 kilonewton, then we will take 25% of live load, and if it is greater than 3 kilonewton, then we will consider it as a 50%. Okay, so in our case it is greater than 3, so what we will do, we will take 50%. Okay, once we will check how much he has given, we can see he has given how much, 4 kilonewton per meter square, which is obviously greater than 3, so we will consider 50% of load. So live load on each floor is multiplied by area multiplied intensity, how much he has given, 4. How much percentage we will take, we will take 50% because it is greater than 3. So we have got live load on each floor as 600 kilo newton, correct? So we have got live load on each floor how much, 600 kilo newton. Then live load on roof slab, area multiplied by density, it is lesser than 1.5, so what we will do, we will take 25%. Okay, then seismic weight of building on each floor, that is dead load plus live load. So on each floor how much, we will add dead load plus live load. Okay, so on each floor it is 4200 kilonewton, and seismic weight on roof slab it is 3100 3112.5 kilonewton. Okay, so load on first floor, second floor, third floor, and roof slab. Okay, add these things, and roof slab it will be obviously lesser. So so we will get the total load. Now base shear how will calculate, we will calculate with Ah into W. Okay, so we know the value of Ah, we know the value of W, so we will get the base shear as 1414. Okay, then what we will do, we will determine the lateral forces for each floor. So here there will be a story 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we have individual weights. Okay, and here we will have heights. Okay, then multiply, we will get some summation with this upon summation, we will get this one, this upon summation we will get 0.33. What you do, just go up to 4 decimals, I will tell why. Okay, so on doing all this you will get the value of Q. You can go for Qx. If you ask for both the direction, if you have time means go for both the direction Qx and Qy. If not, go for Qy or any one direction. Okay, so the one thing is that why I'm saying to take 3 to 4 decimals means when you add all these 4 values, it should be equal to the VB. Okay, just take care of that one. Okay, after that he says to draw the forces on each floor. Okay, anybody having doubt here? Anybody having doubt? Okay, so there are different types of problems are there, so just go through these. If you find the procedure is same, the only the thing is that load calculation and seeing the tabular columns. Okay, so what you do, go, okay, so try to solve some different numericals and